Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wellness Paradigm Podcast, where we explore what it really takes to feel good in your body, break free from outdated health rules, and rewire your personal path to wellness. I'm your host, Shannon Salgi, and we're turning into a special launch series where I've invited 8 incredible guests to answer one powerful question. What's one paradigm shift in your wellness journey that changed everything for you? These conversations are short, real, and designed to spark something in you, whether you're just starting your health journey or you've been on the path for years. So we're going to dive in, and we only have 8 minutes here. So I'm going to open the floor to the beautiful Megan Hardy, who is the CEO of Fitness Uncharted and also the Muscle Makeover Podcast. And so I'm going to have her answer this question for us.
Yes. Hi. So I would say like a part of my paradigm shift in my wellness journey was really not looking at just like the physical side of things. And came from a binge restrict background with food and nutrition. And I was a 90s baby. Came through diet culture, all that fun stuff. Saw my mom doing all the diets and all that good stuff. And always wanted to be skinny, wanted to be the same weight I was in high school. And, I just thought that meant cardio and eating less. And then I got on this binge restrict cycle of binging at night, restricting during the day. And I was all for the goal of looking a certain way physically. And it wasn't until like really my paradigm shift was like looking at the mental, emotional, spiritual part as well as the physical. And when all those things came together, and I was actually looking at my physique not only as looking good, but also like optimal health in all those other areas, that was that paradigm shift for me. And that's also where I no longer had this poor relationship with food. And I started to kind of journey into this, what I call my food freedom journey of having a healthy relationship with food, which changed everything. Because the beautiful part was as I was focusing more on getting stronger, building muscle, like eating to nourish my body, feeling good, not just looking good, the looking good came with all of that. So it's like it came full circle. But instead, I think a lot of times, and a lot of the women I talk to and work with, we think we have to pick one or the other. It's like, well, I want to feel, I want longevity, I want health, but I really want to look good. And I'm like, well, you can do both. And as you work on the feeling good and optimal health, it's going to improve the physical side too. So one thing I always say is like, what's the point of having a sexy body or like looking amazing if you feel like crap on the inside, you have a crap relationship with food, you're
Mhm.
miserable, like you feel like you can't engage or be present with your kids or friends or social life. That's not a way to live. So
Mhm.
that's where my paradigm shift really happened because once I started focusing on the right things and using exercise, using nutrition to fuel me rather than to try to fit into a certain body that I thought I needed to be. Like who I don't know why. Why did we I say we, but I'll speak for myself, think that I need to be the same weight I was in high school, right? Like there's no need for that. That's what I thought, would make me feel my best. And now I stand today over 30 pounds heavier than that weight, but I am healthier. I am leaner, more muscular. I feel my best in my 30s than I did in my teens or 20s. And I'm like, that's all like speaks to that paradigm shift for me of looking at food as fuel, looking at how can I exercise to support my body and my health, and looking at it as a strength goal versus a skinny goal. So
My
here we
goodness.
are.
Wonderful. I think so many people can relate to that too, is understanding food is fuel. You don't have to be who your body changes, your mind changes, your goals change, and it's like not trying to fit yourself in that box again. And yeah, is there any kind of word of advice that you would give someone like that might be in this, shift, feeling kind of trapped in their maybe binge restrict cycle or, unhealthy patterns in their mind?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think one thing for a lot of the women I speak with, and a lot who may be even listening to this, is, I think the binge restrict cycle is very common
Yeah.
for a lot. I know so many who are like, yeah, I did that or had prior eating disorders in high school, starting very
Me.
early on
Mm.
for a lot of us, especially if you, grew up, especially in any kind of sports like gymnastics or dance or anything like that, which is very traditional for a lot of girls. It was all about being small. And so also along with that comes just that focus on the scale too. And that would be one of my biggest encouragements once I stepped away from that. It opened up a whole new world for me where I was actually able to build the strength, build the muscle, get into leaner shape and fuel my body and have food freedom because I wasn't hyper focused on that number. If you had told me, a decade ago I would gain 30 pounds to be where I am today, I wouldn't have done it. You
No.
know, like
Like,
I
"You're gonna
wouldn't have
get
done
good, but
it.
be happy and healthy." Nah. You know?
No, no. Yeah, you couldn't have, like, convinced me with being happy and healthy if you had told me 30 pounds.
Me either.
But it's like, I actually just shared a client's story, and on social, who she barely lost 10 pounds with us throughout her year in our program. Her body looks insanely different
Oh,
from
yeah.
start to finish, and it's like, she was a testament. She's 65 years old, by the way. She was a testament to someone who, one, it's never too late. So if you feel
Yep.
like that's you, it is never too late.
Mhm.
And to change your body, change your health, change your life. And secondly, that she made all those changes and she committed to the process and the journey without being hyper focused on what traditional diet culture would tell you to focus on, which is largely
Mhm.
the scale and restriction. So if you
And
want like the body and the food freedom, you probably have to step away from what you've done in the past.
I bet she told you, like, "I wish I found you 20 years ago."
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. I
Well,
also
and
wanted
she
to
said well, she said too that, like, she was like, "This is the best." She's like, "Investing in yourself is not selfish." And she was like, "This is the best decision I made for not only myself." She was like, "But this is your health is the best gift you can give your kids and your grandkids." She was like, "Hands down." And I'm like, I couldn't agree more, you know? I'm like pregnant right now, and I'm like, when I think about my parents and AKA my son's grandparents, I'm like, that would be the best gift they could give me and him is their
Mm.
health.
My goodness, I love that, and I would love to see, like, her lipids and metabolic profile. I bet that'd be so thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming on the show, and I can't
Yes.
wait to chat a little bit longer coming up here.
Absolutely.